We're back this week and we're going to talk about shapes. First today we're going to talk about what the letter S says. Do you know what the letter S says? Oh, if you said S, you're right. The letter S says S. Here's the letter S. This is the uppercase S. This is the lowercase s. And when you make an S, you make a slithering swirl. So we start here, we trace around, and we make an S. And the lowercase s is actually just a little bit smaller than the big S. So we just make it a little bit smaller S. We'll be practicing that later. The color that I chose to talk about this week was orange. So this is the color orange. We're also going to talk about the shape circle. That's one of our shapes we're talking about this week, a circle. What color is my circle? Red, good job. So our number of the week is the number 2. Let's count, ready? 1, 2. And this is the number 2. It's off today. So you can see there are 2 different ways to make the number 2. Sometimes you see it written like this, and sometimes it's like a swirl at the bottom. So you might see a 2 either of those ways. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to look at all of our shapes. So up here on the board, I have a triangle. This is a triangle, and a triangle has 1, 2, 3 sides and 1, 2, 3 points, and that's a triangle. The next shape is a heart. Most of you knew what a heart was, but I'll show you one anyway. This is a heart. Swirl there, swirl there. The next one is a square. And a square has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. And one thing that you should notice about the sides is that they're all the same length. So they're the same size. It's equal here, 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 and there. So all the way around. The next shape is you guessed it, a star. And this is a very distinct shape, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points on it. It's a special, special shape. The next shape is an oval. And the oval is kind of like a circle, but it's not because it's like it was stretched up top. So it stretched the top and the bottom and became an oval. And our last shape that we're going to talk about is the rectangle. And the rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides like a square, and 1, 2, 3, 4 points like a square. But can you tell what's different about a rectangle and a square? Let me show you the square again. So this is the square, and this is the rectangle. What's different? Oh, if you said the rectangle is longer, you were right. Kiss your brain. So a square has all equal sides, but a rectangle has a pair, which is 2 sides that are the same, and another pair, 2 sides that are the same, but they're stretched longer. So these 2 match and these 2 match. It kind of looks like a big truck. A rectangle is the shape of a big truck on the road. So those are our shapes. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to share a story with you. The story doesn't have a name on the front. What's that look like? A smiley face? It kind of does. With no eyeballs? I don't know. This is called The Perfect Square by Michael Hall. So the author is the person who writes the story, the words in the story, and his name is Michael Hall. And it doesn't list an illustrator, So usually that means Michael Hall probably did both. He drew the pictures and wrote the words. It was a perfect square. It had 4 matching corners and 4 equal sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was perfect. Perfect little square. And let me get a little closer. It was perfectly happy. What else does it have? It's a smiley face now. But on Monday, the square was cut into pieces and poked full of holes. It wasn't perfectly square anymore. I don't know what happened. So it made itself into a fountain that babbled and giggled and clapped. So it did what? It changed itself into a fountain? Wow, it just rearranged its parts. It kind of made the best of its situation. On Tuesday, the square was torn into scraps. Oh no. So it took the pieces and made itself into a garden. On Wednesday, oh no, the square was shredded into strips. So it made itself into a park. See the kite flying, grass on the ground, some water maybe. On Thursday, the square was shattered. Kind of like glass gets shattered. So it made itself into a bridge. Wow. On Friday, the square was snipped into ribbons. So it made itself into a river. On Saturday, the square was crumpled and ripped and wrinkled. I wonder what it's going to turn into now. Any ideas? What could that turn into? So it made itself into a mountain. On Sunday, the square waited to see what it was next. It waited and waited. Nothing happened. Its 4 equal sides were confining. Its 4 matching corners were rigid and cramped, so it was stuck in its shape. It couldn't get out. And how does it feel now? It feels sad. It's a sad face. So, oh my goodness, it made itself into a window. And the window that looked out onto a mountain that gave birth to a river that was crossed by a bridge that led to a park that was home to a garden that at its center had a fountain that babbled and giggled and clapped. Wow, seems pretty happy now. What do you think? That square got to turn into a lot of different things. So if you had a square, what do you think you might turn it into? That's going to be one of our activities this week. I'm going to give you a square. I'm not sure what color it'll be. It might be a different color. Could be purple or blue or pink or red. And you get to either, you can punch holes in it, or you can rip it into pieces. And then you get to put it on a piece of paper and glue it and make your own creation. So I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit. So you get to turn your square into something other than a square. I hope you liked our story.